So I was thinking about, and there's just some upgrades that I get for my RCs that really aren't meant for any RC in particular, and that would go to my RC workspace. So I thought I should just go ahead and do a simple little series showing me unboxing or getting upgrades for my workspace. Here's the upgrades that I already have. The first thing I want to talk about are the tools that I have. So for anything Phillips, I have this ratchet screwdriver that I got from Home Depot for about $5. Nothing special, but the ratchet feature does make things a bit easier. For my hex screws, I had to get hex screwdrivers because the Allen wrenches just were not doing it for me. They hurt my hands and they were stripping the screws. So the first one that I got was a 2.5 millimeter. The brand is Battery Option Limited. Got this off eBay for about $3-5, and it came somewhere from Asia. I can't find this brand anymore, but I have to say, guys, even though if this is a knockoff brand, it has done a really good job. I have never stripped a screw with this. It is held up very, very well. And a nice little feature is I can remove this grub screw, the tip comes out, and I can install it into a hand drill, just to make things a bit easier. Yes, this is a hand drill that I use. It's a bit excessive, I'll admit, but it does have options for slower speeds. That way I don't strip out the screws. Now, for the next two hex screwdrivers, I went with Vision. This one is a 2.5 or 2.0 millimeter, sorry about that. It has a rounded tip, which is an awesome freaking feature, because with the other ones you have to put in the screwdriver straight. With this one you can get it at different angles, and believe me guys, that makes a world of a difference. Some of the screws on my RCs, you need to remove them at an angle, no ifs, ands, or buts, unless you want to take off another part, and it's a mess. So this is by far my favorite tool. It's held up very well. I have had no issues with it. Now for the 1.5 millimeter hex, this one was originally rounded at the tip. Well, it's stripped, so I had to get replacement ends for it, and just like with the Battery Option Limited, they both have the grub screw, so you can put that into a hand drill. This end is from some weird brand that I can't even remember that I got off eBay, and it's held up, but I am eventually going to have to replace it because I got a pair of these and the first one already stripped. This one is holding up all right. It's starting to round out, and the last thing I want to do is start stripping grub screws, so I'm going to have to look around and figure out a better brand for the 1.5 millimeter. Just like with that hex screwdriver, I got both of these Vision ones off eBay for about $7 a piece, and they came from somewhere in Asia. Can't remember. They tend to pop up every once in a while on eBay, but it's one of those things that you just have to be persistent and look around for. All of these do have aluminum handles with grip, which, believe me guys, that is so much easier to use than an Allen wrench. Now, a nice little upgrade that I did to the desk that I have, which is just a basic art desk, is I got some plexiglass and I used a torch, bent it, put some holes into it, and now I have a place for all my hex screwdrivers. Since all these handles are round, they have a tendency of rolling off the desk or rolling into the tray. And if that's full of screws, it's a headache, so I had to make this holder. As for the other tools I have, well, with the micros that I have from Losi, I just use a basic screwdriver. I mean, it's the smallest size I have that came in a set, dirt cheap. Same with the screwdriver I use to do all the adjusting with my Nitro Wrestler. I have, of course, these to work on with stock parts, especially with the turnbuckles and stuff. I'd rather use these before I use anything else. You might wonder, why in the world do I have a pair of fine tip tweezers? Believe me guys, this is one of those things that I think is highly underrated to use in the RC work area, because this is wonderful for picking out screws that fall into tight places. And it's amazing how many times these things have saved my life. Just picking up washers, I mean, they're awesome, and I highly recommend you get a pair. Of course, for all the nuts, I have these three. This one was donated to me by TRAXXASGUY45. This one I bought. This is for the Nitro Wrestler. The reason why I did buy this is that this fits into the front wheels to remove the front wheel nut a lot easier than this one. This one grinds up against the rim and just causes a whole bunch of issues, but this is a lot nicer to use to remove the glow plugs. And for all the other wheel nuts, I just have these basic 4-way wrench that Traxxas provides you with every one of their models that you buy. And the last thing that I use from time to time, whether it's trimming plastic, putting a hole in the body, I use an X-Acto knife. I mean, it's one of those simple things that once you have it, you will find a use for it. So to make things a little bit more organized, I'm going to go ahead and split up my upgrade videos for my work area into different segments. This one is pretty much just tools. It would be a lot easier to point out to someone, hey, these are the tools I have, check out this video, instead of making a 20-minute video showing everything I have and they have to sit through all of it. So for now, this was my level 1 upgrade for my workspace.